right. All right. We are back here after a Browns disappointing loss. Unfortunately, they just didn't play well enough on either side to win this game here. But we're going to start by talking about the offense in this game because I think some special attention needs to be paid to the offense because, quite honestly, it's been one of the bigger problems for this team all year because the offense just ain't living up to what it's supposed to be. What do I mean by that? Well, the way this team's built and the way that everything's structured is for this offense to be in the top five-ish of the NFL. And right now, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are, but there's no way that this is a top five offense in the NFL. No way. They're not performing to that spec. And look, I get the defense is not great. I'm not trying to say this was a great defensive performance, but you only gave up 15 points. You know what I mean? You really only gave up 15 points. You should be able to win a game with how the Browns are built if you only give up 15 points. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that, right? I get it. The defense is what everybody wants to focus on. It's where everybody's point of frustration is. Joe Woods this, Joe Woods that. Quite honestly, I'm just kind of tired of it. And I don't even think it's true anymore. The defense ain't the problem. They're not why this team didn't win the game this week. It's the offense. And what happened on offense, right? Who played bad on offense? First off, we're going to go to Nick Chubb. 16 carries, 61 yards, 3.8 yards a carry. For most other running backs, that might be a good game. For Nick Chubb, that's an atrociously bad game. It's really a bad game for Nick Chubb. So, not good enough there, right? 16 carries, we're going to need more than 61 yards and no touchdowns out of Nick Chubb. Baker Mayfield, 20 of 31, 225, no touchdowns, no interceptions. It was an okay game for Baker. I felt like he played well in the fourth quarter. He just got victimized by some drops there later on in the game. And then let's talk about the wide receivers. Oh, my goodness. This was awful. Jarvis Landry is your leading wide receiver today. He had 5 receptions, 65 yards. So when he was catching the ball, for the most part, it was good. He also had a fumble, a very key fumble, on the 20, that really cost you critical points in a critical time of the game in the fourth quarter. So it looked like the Browns were moving, about ready to score, wrap this thing up. Jarvis Landry fumbles. Jarvis Landry had 3 drops. That last one at the end of the game, look, that's a tough play for Jarvis to make. And it's a tough throw for Baker to make. And I think Baker did a good enough job getting the ball there for Jarvis to make a play. But at the end of the day, man, Jarvis, you a $13 million receiver. You supposed to make them plays. If this were Donovan Peoples-Jones or Rashard Higgins, I wouldn't be complaining. But when you see Hooper, one of the highest paid tight ends out there, dropping a touchdown, when you see Jarvis Landry, one of the highest paid wide receivers on the team, dropping 3 balls and fumbling, and when you see Odell Beckham just not get targeted, but 3 times, makes you want to ask some questions about the offense here. And it's been like this all year. We can talk about the defense all you want, but the defense is a smokescreen. Defense is performing. We thought that, hey, look, best case scenario, this defense is top 5, but really, we're just kind of hoping that this defense can be somewhere in that top 15 category of defenses. And I think they're there. They have their issues. They're not great on third down. They can't get off the field consistently, but when they do, they're pretty good. They can get some pressure. They're all right. They're a good enough defense. They're a top 15 defense. The problem is we got a 15th ranked offense right now too, when the offense is supposed to be one of the best in the NFL. And that's the biggest problem. Defense can be the defense, but the offense is just awful right now, especially given that they're supposed to be carrying this team. So when that happens, it's kind of a waste, right? So when that happens, it's just very, very, very disappointing. So offensively, just not a good enough performance. I mean, oh my goodness, it was awful. Fumbles, drops, wide receivers is not on the same page. It's just bad. It's bad. And I don't care what happens with the defense. The defense is fine. If they don't figure this stuff out on offense, then they might go under 500 or 500, right? Because the offense is supposed to be carrying this team, and this is an offense that put up 10 points today. That's the real red flag. How in the world is this offense with its starting quarterback and its starting running back, Nick Chubb, Odell, Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield, all out here, and we only putting up 10 points? And it ain't like the Steelers been shutting out everybody they've played. They gave up like 30 to Seattle. That's the biggest problem this team has. Since week 1, the offense has not been what it was last year. They need to figure out why, right? That is a huge, huge issue. Why is this offense not performing? Why is this offense struggling so much? Why does this offense take 6 minutes to score the football when you have so many weapons? Why is this offense at times just stuttering, pausing? That's the real question, man. The offense is an issue right now. This team is built around the fact that you're going to have a high-powered offense, and you don't have a high-powered offense. So what you're seeing is a very average football team. That's the problem. Kevin's got to figure it out. Baker's got to figure it out. Wide receivers got to figure it out. Offensive line got to figure out. But whatever it is, the magic that was there last year offensively, it ain't there this year. From the run game to everything else. Why? What's different? What's changed? That's the biggest problem this team has. If the offense doesn't get it together, and I don't know if it's going to be something as simple as Alex Van Pelt calling plays. I don't think there's this big difference between Alex Van Pelt and Kevin Stefanski that y'all see. I know everybody wants to believe that, but Kevin Stefanski and Alex Van Pelt, they're not dysfunctional. So you know what that means when I say they're not dysfunctional? They probably agree with each other on all this stuff. They probably work with each other on all these decisions. This is not a situation like with Todd Monken and Freddie Kitchens where they were running 2 different offenses. It didn't agree on anything. So yeah, if you switch to Todd Monken versus Freddie Kitchens, going to be a big difference in the play calling. Going to be a big difference in the offensive philosophy. But with Alex Van Pelt, it's going to be the same exact thing you getting out of Kevin Stefanski. Because when Alex Van Pelt called plays last year, the one game Kevin wasn't in there, it was the same exact thing that we have with Kevin. All the problems and all the things that we love with Kevin Stefanski existed in that game against Pittsburgh in the playoffs. He did the same exact thing. So I don't think Alex Van Pelt's going to make it that much different than Kevin Stefanski. Unless Kevin Stefanski is being overwhelmed right now. But to be honest with you, don't seem like he's being overwhelmed. He's not like calling bad timeouts or making like rash decisions and all that. Like everything looks pretty calculated like he wants to do it. So it don't seem like that's the thing. Like he's overwhelmed on the sidelines. He seems to be handling everything well. It's just something stinks with this offense right now. Something ain't working. I don't think Alex Van Pelt's the answer. Really don't. What about Alex Van Pelt's resume makes you think he's the answer? I'm honestly willing. Is it just because he's the other guy? Then that's why you want to believe in him? But what about his resume makes you think that he's the answer? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Right? It's just, it's the same stuff every week with the offense. Bad penalties, 3rd and longs, shooting yourself in the foot, Rashard Higgins jumping off sides for no good reason. No good reason. Getting a holding call on a 20-yard run, not executing in the red zone, dropping a touchdown. It really is, it's that simple. Sometimes it's play calling, and sometimes it's convenient to blame it on play calling, but honestly, they just suck at executing. That's the truth about the offense right now. They suck at executing. Like it is wild. Like I don't think it's a big deep issue with the play calling. Like half the time I can't even tell if the play calling's any good because they're jumping off sides, or they're forgetting to block somebody, or they're dropping the freaking football. You got 9, how many drops? Was it 8? I can count 8 off the top of my head. There's probably more, but I can count 8 off the top of my head. 8 drops. What play calling are you going to call to get over 8 drops? Like, how you going to get around that with play calling if they're not catching the ball? 8 drops. 8 drops. But you want me to change the play calling? For what? The plays were there. The plays were there. They weren't catching the ball. You see what I mean? Like, it don't matter what you call if they're not going to catch it. That's on the field, man. That's on the field. And Kevin ain't going to say it. Neither is any of the coaches, because like that's not a responsible thing for a coach to say. It's just to put it on players. But the players know that. Players know they let everybody down today. 8 drops. And you think we about to just win it? 8 drops and a fumble. We think we just about to win a football game? Can't even put up 10 points, man. That's the issue. It's always the same issues. We talk about the coaching staffs, who we want to fire. Do we need to fire Joe Woods? All this stuff. Like we don't watch the games every week, and like we don't know that the issues are always the same. It's always the same. I've been saying this for 7 weeks with this offense. Man, they don't look like they got it together. Man, they're just not coming off the ball right. Man, they're just not playing well. Man, they're just not executing. How many times? I know y'all tired of me. How many times have I had to come on here? Oh, they're not executing. They're not executing well. They're just not executing. They're not blocking well. They're not executing in red zone. I say executing so much it doesn't even seem like a word anymore. But that's what it is. They're just not executing on the field. We can 4D chess this and try to be big brain Browns fan about this all we want and say, well, it's actually the scheme and it's Kevin's fan. They're just not playing good. They're not playing good enough football on the offensive side of the ball. And that's devastating to this team because this team is built around its offense. That's the long and true of it. You're wondering why the Browns don't look like that team that you thought they would be? I thought they would be. It's because the offense isn't carrying its weight. Offense is supposed to be top 5. They're probably like the 15th best offense in the NFL, and the way the Browns are built, that ain't going to cut it. That really ain't going to cut it. Not for what the Browns are hoping to do. So, you get games like this. It's pathetic, man. This team is built around this offense. They put up 10 points today. I don't want to hear about no Joe Woods, nothing else. This team is built around the offense. They put up 10 points because they couldn't catch the ball. Because they couldn't stay on sides. Because they couldn't not get penalties. Not because of anything the Pittsburgh Steelers did to you. No disrespect to the Steelers. But come on, man. I didn't think the Steelers were going to stop us at any point. I'm more worried about the Browns going to stop the Browns. And what happened? Browns driving in the fourth quarter. What the Browns do? Fumble. Browns stop the Browns right there. What happened on the first drive? Instead of getting a touchdown, Austin Hooper doesn't catch a ball that he usually catches. Browns stop the Browns on that drive. Like, what play did Pittsburgh really make in this game to make a difference? What play? Jarvis has fumbled. Like, you could say that's Joe Schobert that did that. But Jarvis don't normally fumble. He just fumbled. You know what I mean? It's the Browns stopping the Browns. It's every week. Timothy Fitzgerald, thank you for the $2 super chat. We should have kicked for 15-3 and hope to hold. What? So you're saying we should have kicked instead of going for it? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if the defense was getting off the field. If you would have kicked there. I mean, I don't think you ended up getting the ball back after that anyways, right? So after that possession where you went for it, you never ended up getting the ball back. And I'm not playing the kick. Like, you might as well, if you're at 4th and 11, try to convert. Because, again, the offense is supposed to be the strength of this team. You should be able to get 11 yards if you need it. Not settle for field goals. Why are we out here playing like it's the Eric Mangini offense when this is supposed to be one of the best offenses in the NFL? It's just disappointing to watch every week. And until that offense looks better and more consistent, they're going to continue to look like this. This is not an aberration. This has been 7 straight weeks where the offenses look sloppy. There are some real questions that need to be asked because I don't think it's quarterback play. Quarterback play wasn't amazing today, but it was good. You know, I thought Baker was good, especially coming off injury. And I didn't even notice his injury. So, you know, I don't think it's quarterback play. I don't think it's because you don't got talent. Super chat here from Josh Z, who says at least they're not 0-16 and getting trapped under flags. Average team is better. Season over is in September. They were average until the bye last year, too. Well, yeah, you can't be average until the bye this year because the bye week's like in week 11 or something like that. Something way too late. So, no, the bye week's too late. You better turn around next week and really hit a roll because as long as this offense looks like this, we're going to keep doing this every week. Why they look like that? Who needs to get better? Who needs to get fired? All that because the offense ain't holding up its end of the bargain. The run game ain't been there. Nick Chubb ain't really looked like Nick Chubb outside of 2 quarters against L.A. this year. Like, other than that, he really hasn't looked like Nick Chubb this year. And I think that's a conversation that needs to be had. I know we love Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb has not looked like Nick Chubb at all this season for the most part. Rook, $5 super chat. Whatever, fire Joe Woods. Whatever, man. You want to fire, like, if that's where you want to focus on, when you know good and goddamn well that this offense is pathetic right now and it's supposed to be the strength of the team. Like, who's really letting the team down more? Honestly, tell me that honestly. Who's letting the team down more? The defense that's playing without its best corner, that has multiple injuries through it, and that was honestly built to be probably top 15, but not like the best defense in the NFL. Right? You lost John Johnson in this game, multiple starters. You don't have your best linebacker in JOK, and they gave up 15 points. 15 points. All those injuries, the defense gave up 15 points. Did they let the team down? Or is the offense that had Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Odell, Jarvis Landry, David Njoku, Austin Hooper, and 4 out of 5 starting offensive linemen versus a defense that's been good, but not great this year. They only got 10 points the entire game. Who let your team down more? Honestly, who let the team down more? You want to talk about firing Joe Woods? The defense held up its end of the bargain. You could say it's not a good offense, and it's not. But they held up their end of the bargain. 14 points, 15 points, that's holding up your end of the bargain. Offense can't get damn 14 points. Can't get 15. This offense is supposed to be a guaranteed 30-plus point a game offense. We're struggling to get 10 points on the board. Had negative 6 yards in the second quarter. Which side of the ball let the team down more? Because one side didn't let the team down. The other side just didn't show up. And this ain't the first time that's happened. Defense done won you more games this year than the offense. But we want to fire Joe Woods. Why? For what? The defense ain't the issue right now. It's your offense that stings. And the whole thing is built around the offense. So when your whole thing built around the offense and the offense doesn't show up, we can't be sitting here looking at the defense. We scored 10 points. That's why you lost. It's that simple, y'all. It's really that simple. You score more than 10. You score 14. Well, not 14. You score 15 points, you tie. You score 16 points, you win. It ain't that many damn points. You score 20 points. Oh, my God. You blow them out. That's why the team ain't win. That's what was letting the team. That's what's been letting the team down the whole year is the offense. You could blame that on Baker. You could blame that on Kevin. You could blame that on Nick. You can blame that on whoever it is that you. Only person you can't blame on is Dearness Johnson, right? But other than that, man, come on. Like, really ask yourself that question. Who is letting the team down more? The offense or the defense? Because to me, it is clear this offense ain't holding its side of this bargain at all. And that's what's disappointing. I could live with the defense stinking. I thought the defense was going to be okay. You know, I was like, maybe they could be good. They'll show some flashes of being a top 5 defense. But, you know, they're going to float around in that, you know, top 15 area. I would be fine with that because I'm assuming that the offense is going to be great. Offense ain't been good, let alone great. Justin Klink with a $5 super chat. Offense is embarrassing this season. I don't know if it's injuries, keeping the offense out of sync, or what. It's just hard to watch this offense. D did their job. I don't know what's getting them out of sync. It's been 8 games. Like, I could say maybe it's the preseason, but it's been 8 games, bro. 8 games. They ain't got it together yet. That makes me wonder if they're going to get it together. Robert Gentry, Hunt. We needed Hunt today. He runs with the Cleveland attitude against Pittsburgh. It's Hunt. Think about it. You don't need to have. I thought you could go in there with Case Keenum and beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is not that good of a team that you need Kareem Hunt to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. You should be able to put up more than 10 points with Dearness Johnson and Case Keenum. You did it last week. Like, they don't need to be fully healthy. It's just the offense don't look good. Robert Gentry, Hunt. We needed. Oh no, you already had that one. Rilo Forehead, who says, "Facts. Y'all need to stop saying defense can't get off the field when the offense can't stay on it." The issue also with the offense is it's not that they can't stay on the field. They don't go 3 and out that much. Sometimes, like, they have like a couple spits during the game where they go 3 and out. But for the most part, it's these long-ass drives where they get no points out of that's really been killing this team. It's where they take 4 minutes off the clock and then don't even get a field goal attempt. You know, like that's the shit that's killing this offense, this team. It's just they're too good to get out their own way. Someone, somewhere, offense looked crisp against Kansas City and bad. They looked crisp versus Kansas City for 3 quarters, and then the 4th quarter happened, and this offense ain't been the same. And now we learned that Kansas City probably just is a terrible defense. Right? Maybe it was more about Kansas City than it was about Cleveland looking good. Terry Calhoun donated $10 through Super Chat. Appreciate that, Terry. He said, Sheba Dog, shaking his hips, saying thank you. Thank you, brother. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do on offense. Obviously, they need to make some decisions, make some changes. And here's the thing that makes me worried about it is if this were like one thing where I'm like, okay, they don't have a match here with this player or this is a out of sync fit. It's really not like that. Like, people ask me, oh, is there a trade the Browns can make that'll make this better? Like, you have enough at wide receiver to where if that were the issue, you'd be able to solve it with volume, but you don't have that. John Kelso, it's like every week there's a group of small things that go wrong that are significant, but it's a different group of small things every week. Brother, I could go through every single loss. We're going to do this right now, actually. Let's go Browns. We're going to go through their schedule, right? I'm going to put up on the screen. Let's do this. Hold on. Is that Twitter? Oh, yeah, it's on the other browser. Yeah, let's do this. Because I can go through literally every game and tell you like 3 different plays where the Browns just shot themselves in the foot for no reason. All right, we go week 1, Kansas City. I mean, do I even got to say it? Do I really even have to say it? Right? Do I have to say what it was that shot the Browns in the foot in Kansas City? There are multiple ones for you to choose from. There's the fumbled punt. There is Frederick with the super chat, $5. Stefanski isn't Freddie Kitchens, but we're the most penalized team in the league right now. On top of everything else, can't get around that. Yeah, that's an issue. That's a real issue. With Kansas City, multiple plays where you shot yourself in the foot. You went on a 3-game win streak, and then you played the Chargers. And that was the game where nobody decided that they were going to cover Mike Williams. Just nobody. Nobody covered Mike Williams. They just let Mike Williams run for like 200 yards. And then what? Arizona, that whole game was a mistake. So it didn't come down to 1 or 2 things. That was just a beatdown. And in Pittsburgh, man, same deal. Same deal. Every time they lose, like outside of the Arizona game where Arizona just beat you down, you lost those other 3 completely because of your own doing. Yeah, you could have made, that was on them. These are on them. These aren't better team beat you. You just got beat. And you usually do it to yourself every week. That's what's frustrating about this team. Because usually, 4-4 ain't that frustrating of a record. It's not a great record, but it's not a frustrating record. But if you're wondering why this team frustrates you so much, it's because you can count that Kansas City loss, 3 or 4 mistakes cost you that game. The LA game, like 4 or 5 mistakes or 2 mistakes cost you that one. You gave up all them yards to Mike Williams. You still should have probably won this game. Arizona, I'll give Arizona that one. They beat us on that. And then what? Pittsburgh, come on, bro. Come on, man. We got a fumble on the 20. We got all them drops, drop touchdown. Failed to take advantage of the fact that Pittsburgh had no kicker. Giving yourselves L's. Giving yourself L's. All right, let me catch up on these super chats. I don't know how to, like the Browns, if they want to beat some good teams this year, they got to figure out how to not beat themselves. That's the honest to God truth. They want to beat better teams because they'll beat the other teams. They'll beat the Lions. They'll beat teams like that. But, they want to beat the better teams. They got to figure out how not to beat themselves first because that's how they lose all the times. They beat themselves. That's what's frustrating to watch. That's what makes this team frustrating. If they were just going out there and losing and they were 4-4, but you know what, they were just getting bad breaks and not creating mistakes by themselves, hey man, it's gonna turn around eventually. But the way they lose it right now is like, bro, you're not even letting yourself get a chance to win this game because you're like playing yourself more than you're playing the other team. Frederick and April Himes was a super chat. Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, I read that one. Stefanski's and Freddie. Arendal got some interesting notes to talk about if you're doing Patreon calls. What a disappointing game. I'm thinking about doing it. We'll see how the rest of the show goes, but thank you for the super chat, Arendal. Calvin and Clink. Just seems like we're getting away from the well set up screenplays that got us through last year. We have not had a full team win yet this year. Yeah, it's very concerning that we haven't had a full team win yet, Calvin. But also, I would disagree on the screenplay stuff, right? I think this year they're over-relying on the screenplays to move the ball. Last year, they were nice. They were there if the Browns needed them. But the Browns were also just able to get 20-yard chunks. Use the seams, attack there, just go downfield with it. It seems like they have traded all of that downfield attacking for screenplays. And I think it's had a bad effect on this offense. I really do. Rook said you let Mike Williams go for 200 yards and you don't fire Joe Woods. You said it like Mike Williams is a bum, but yeah, they let the dude run through the middle of the defense, and I don't think that was because of scheme, because if you pay attention to that, they moved dudes around after that game to not let that happen anymore. That's on Ronnie Harrison. We talked about this on film. Ronnie just breaking his discipline to crash down on the tight end, creating open lanes. Why do y'all have such a excitement about firing Joe Woods? Do you think the team's going to get better if they fire Joe Woods? Explain to me how that happens. Who's the defensive coordinator? What changes? What changes if they fire Joe Woods? We just going to have Joe Woods' protege as the defensive coordinator. How's that change anything? This team ain't dysfunctional like that, man. Can't just be out here just want to fire everybody. Richie LeCount, and people are like, oh, we could play LeCount and bench Ronnie. Richard LeCount didn't play this week because he did something. On the injury report, it said discipline. He out for disciplinary reasons. So I'm not counting on LeCount playing anytime soon, man. Really ain't. John Kelso, looking at the trades we can make, maybe a speedy linebacker to back up JOK. Other than that, we should have our team. Also, our 2-minute drills have been bad this year. Oh my goodness, the 2-minute drills have been awful. Yeah, they've been bad. They have been bad, man. On Q says, got too far away from the play action naked bootleg game. They're actually running the same amount that they did last year. It's just even when they run the bootleg, they're not taking the same. Here's the difference between last year. They're doing the same stuff as last year, but the difference is they're not really stretching the field as much. And when they do attempt to stretch the field, they're just wildly less successful. That's really the difference. The offense is pretty similar than it was last year, but the scope of it has shrunk on a vertical access. It's not going, they're not stretching the field as much as they did last year. They're running the same plays, but whether it's Baker or whether it's the coaching, they're not going downfield more often, which I think has been an issue. I think it's leaked into the run game, leaked into the offensive line. Been an issue, man. It's been an issue. Rook says with the $5 super chat, who's responsible for a soldier's failure? The squad leader. Joe Woods allows the players to fail. It's his fault, period. What? First of all, this is not war. This is just football. Second of all, Joe Woods ain't these dudes' daddy. He puts a play out there, puts a call out there. There's a reason why we get mad at players. Right? When Baker Mayfield went out there versus Minnesota and just missed everybody by a mile, were we not mad at Baker Mayfield for not executing? So we can be mad at a player for not executing what the coaches have called. Why can't we do that on defense? That make no sense to me. That's not how it works. And again, why the hell are we talking about the defense right now? What the hell did the defense do? What play did the defense give up that was so inexplicable today? Explain to me why y'all mad about the defense right now. The offense had 10 points. The best offense in the AFC North. One of the best offenses in the AFC. Supposed to be a top 5 offense. Had 10 points. And y'all talking about a defense and a performance where you can't even tell me what the one big play it was that they gave up. Really? What is this? What y'all got this gripe on the damn defense for? What play did the defense give away? Did the defense fumble the ball at the 20-yard line? Did the defense drop the ball 8 times? Did the defense only score 10 points? What are we talking about the defense today for? Y'all just don't like Joe Woods. Just admit it. So thirsty to talk about the damn defense. The defense ain't do nothing. What plays did the defense give up? We can name like 12 on the offense, but y'all want to talk about that? Y'all want to talk about Joe Woods? Really? Come on, man. Y'all done got into your head that Joe Woods is the problem with this team, and y'all just ignoring exactly what you see in front of you. Bro, that's crazy to me. Zach Aubrey with the $2 super chat. Appreciate you, Zach. Yeah, 3rd and 20 was bad. That was a bad one. But correct me if I'm wrong. Was that the fumble drive? Was that the drive they got because it was a fumble? Hold on, wait. Let me check chat and see if y'all been doing something dumb in here. Yeah, man. Like, we could talk about the defense wasn't great today, but the defense wasn't a disappointment. I'm not saying they was freaking 85 Bears today. It's not at all what I'm saying. I think you are misinterpreting my point if you think that's what I'm saying. But what I am saying is 15 points given up by this defense, man, they not the story of this game. Offense only scoring 10 points. All these dudes healthy, they give me 10 points. That's the story. That's what. And look, we're going to keep doing this until they show up. If the offense shows up, man, we're going to stop talking about this damn defense because they'll just be winning games. But the offense not showing up. They have not carried their weight in this season at all. And that's why the team's 500. You want to ask me why this team's 500? It's the offense. Almost every mistake that has led to a loss, like every individual, offense. Penalties, offense. All of it, offense. It's the offense right now. Damian Frederick with a $5 super chat who says, do you feel like Njoku is used enough? Seems to be a mismatch for most defenses. Also, more 4th down woes and missing out on potential points. Absolutely, Damian. I think you're right 100% on the way. I think they got to figure out a way to get Njoku involved. If for whatever reason they don't trust Odell, well, you got to figure it out. You got to figure out what the hell you're going to do with him. Because if you're not going to trade him, because if you trade him right now, you only get like a 5th round or 4th round pick at best. And I think that's generous because he hasn't had a good year in like 3 years. So you're not going to get a ton of value for him. But is there any value in getting rid of him? You know what I mean? Like, there's no value in getting rid of him. So what would be the point of getting rid of him? But you gotta do something. Like, David Njoku doesn't get enough targets. And I think Donovan Peoples-Jones, even though he didn't play today, obviously he was out with the groin. But they just got to restructure this whole thing, man. They got to figure it out. They got to figure out what's going on. Because this same group of dudes played well last year. They're playing terrible. Yeah, man. Somebody's spamming? I need to get mods. Yeah, I need to get mods. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm just trying to be realistic with y'all. I'm not trying to tell y'all anything. I'm going to just ban him because he's just here. Zach Aubrey says, is it just me or is it time for Kevin to give up play calling? I know there were drops and fumbles, but we've never looked convincing at all today. Honestly, I think Kevin is a part of the problem on offense, and I also think Alex Van Pelt is a part of the problem. I don't think giving Alex Van Pelt more control over the offense is going to fix anything, because I think they're both collaborative enough and they work together well enough in terms of how well they collaborate with each other. So they're in lockstep about a lot of these decisions. So I think they're both a part of the problem right now, and they both need to understand that they're a part of this problem on offense. I don't think if you just say, hey, Alex Van Pelt called the plays, it's going to really change much, because, again, I think they're both a part of the problem when it comes to the offense and the play calling and the philosophy and the overall lameness of it. Like, I don't know if it's a play calling issue or if it's a personnel thing. I'm just saying, I don't think the play calling issues that exist right now are going to stop if Alex Van Pelt's in there, because I think this is something between both of them that they're both getting wrong, if that makes sense to y'all. That's why I'm not really gung-ho on the whole let's just give Alex Van Pelt play calling responsibilities, because if that would be if I thought that was a fix, that would be a real simple fix. But I don't think it's that simple. The next question or super chat comes from Lydia. Shout out Lydia. Says talent without success equals play calling issues. Yeah, I think, like, I'm not saying the play calling isn't an issue, by the way. Like, I hear people thinking that I don't think the play calling is an issue. But I think the issue with the play calling goes to both Kevin and Alex Van Pelt right now. I don't think, like, for whatever reason, I think we're used to dysfunction. So we think that it's just Kevin Stefanski calling these plays and he's the only person involved in it, and that he's not really collaborating with his offensive coordinator. Because to be honest with you, that's normally what we see here in Cleveland. But I don't think that's the case. I think this is more or less the case of both of these dudes are collaborating or working together, and they're working together well, but the result is just not optimal. And I don't think changing whichever one is in charge technically of calling these plays really matters that much, because they're both a part of the problem, right? Like, that's really the issue to me, is that they're both a part of the problem. You know, now if you was talking about giving Stump Mitchell the play calling responsibilities, now we cooking with gas. If we giving Stump Mitchell the book, but Stump hurt right now, you can't even put Stump out there. And maybe that's why the offense only scored 10 points, because Stump Mitchell wasn't out there. That the team was missing Stump. No Stump, no win. But in all seriousness, yeah, that's why I'm not like super excited or gung-ho about who's calling the plays, because I think they work together well enough that it doesn't really matter who's calling the plays. And that's a part of the problem, is that whatever they're both agreeing to is not really working right now. Chip Willis says the fact that we don't target Odell more deliberately is bothersome. I got to be honest. I know it's not popular to defend Odell in Cleveland for whatever reason, but, like, come on, man. Why is he on the team if we ain't even going to target him? We have all these stretches where the offense can't get off the ground. We can't get separation. We can't do these things. That's why you have Odell. All right, throw it up to Odell. See what happens. We get a one-on-one. Let's get Odell the ball. They're not even doubling him anymore because they know we're not going to throw it to him. We out here playing defense on Odell better than the other team is. This is Randy Moss in Oakland right now with Odell. For whatever reason, it's Randy Moss in Oakland. We just can't figure it out. And the frustrating part is that we don't even give ourselves enough targets to the dude to figure it out. And it's going to be real frustrating if he does get traded for a late round pick and he starts to ball out somewhere, because he's still good. I know y'all don't believe it. And look, we'll have to wait and see, but the dude's still good. He's still getting open. We just refuse to throw the ball to him. And I don't know if that's a Baker thing, if that's a Kevin thing, if that's an Alex thing, but I have seen all three of them call plays, and it ain't like one of them has like been, let's get the ball to Odell guy. And that's an issue. Why aren't we using Odell? Why the hell do we have Odell on the roster if we're not going to use him, if we're not going to target him? He should have 7 targets a game. He had 4 today. 4. He out here putting the Allen Robinson numbers. Come on, man. Like, we ain't even give him an opportunity to drop nothing. As mad as we was about Odell and them drops last week. Well, look at the drops this week. Everybody's favorite, Rashard Higgins, 2 drops. Everybody's favorite, Jarvis Landry, 3 drops and a fumble. Unbelievable. David Njoku, the only one that don't drop the ball no more. That's a sentence I didn't think I'd ever say. We need Stump Mitchell back. John Kelso with the $5 super chat. The only wrong the defense did today was not getting off the field on some drives. The frustration is that being against the Steelers' anemic offense. Yes, the Steelers' offense is not good. But that don't mean just because the offense is not good in the NFL that you just going to shut them out like they Tulane. You know what I mean? Like, 15 points, that's a good enough performance for the defense. I don't care what offense you're playing. And I don't think this is a whole the league has figured out because Kevin Stefanski wasn't doing nothing radical last year. It was the same exact stuff everybody else do. You know, it still work everywhere else. Why ain't it working here? That's more or less a coaching staff and a personnel issue, right? That's the issue is in the Cleveland Browns locker room. Nobody has figured out the Browns because what they doing don't take no figuring out. It's been around for since the 70s. It's just zone run. The issue is that they're not executing. Somebody said that I'm acting like all the drops were on the money. They weren't. Okay. Here's the thing with drops, y'all. Here's the thing with drops. Here's the thing with them. For some receivers, if those are tough catches, okay. And look, I'm not even counting a tough catch. If a receiver had to leave their platform or jump into an unintended area to bail out a quarterback, like that one throw to Odell, right, where it touched his hand technically, so you could call it a drop, but he had to make a play just to get his hand there. That's not a drop. I'm not counting those. I'm counting drops, which is you're running a route, you're in stride, you have your hands up, ball comes, ball don't get caught. That's what a drop is. When it is an in-rhythm play with a ball that is reasonably on target and you don't catch it. And that happened 8 times today. Not like it touched his hand. Technically, it's a drop. I'm not being petty about the drops. I'm saying legitimate, awful drops. The same drops that y'all was crucifying Odell for last week, the last few weeks. Y'all crucified that man for it. Don't make excuses for it now or act like I'm being petty when I bring it up now. Come on, man. You know all them drops wasn't good. Austin Hooper took 3 steps before he dropped that ball. The hell? $2 super chat from Luis, who says, do you think this season can be derailed by the L? Not this L. Look, this L sucks, and it's because it's Pittsburgh and everything else. Yeah, it sucks, but you go and beat Cincinnati next week, you fine. You fine. You have still enough division games ahead of you to where if you beat Cincinnati, you would have to beat them twice. And then you could split with Baltimore and then win the last game against Pittsburgh. That's a 4-2 division record. You'll be all right. Or if you sweep out the rest of the division, which is going to be tough, admittedly, but it's doable because none of these teams, while they're very good, aren't really elite right now or really clicking on all cylinders. It's possible. But you got to win next week. And we'll see. We'll see how many points the offense can put up because Cincinnati has a good defense and they have a good offense. I understand they just lost to the Jets, so it ain't like they an unbeatable team either. But, we going to find out. Yeah, but that's really it, man. Is there really anything else to say about about what the Browns offense did and did not do? Now the good news is that it's the halfway point of the year. You know what I mean? So you have time to figure it out. But what I am saying is that there needs to be a sense of urgency. When this stuff was happening in week 3, I was like, okay, by week 8, this should be all right. Well, now we at week 8, it don't look like a single thing has changed from what we were concerned about in weeks 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean? So now at this point, I'm legitimately concerned about this offense. Does that mean they get things figured out? We'll see, man. Cincinnati, for whatever reason, in the Baker Mayfield era, has always been a game where things start to make adjustments and make changes and change for the better. It's always been like a turning point for the season, is that Cincinnati game for the Cleveland Browns. So maybe that might be the case here. It's going to be a lot harder than it was any of the last 3 years because Cincinnati's much better this year than they were the last 3 years. But, you know, that's what the situation is going to require, is that you go into Cincinnati, you fix some of these issues, and you play well. And then because the Browns come out next week, play their most complete game of the year, and like beat the Bengals by like 10 plus points, we're going to be feeling all right. We're going to be feeling all right. We're going to be like, oh, well, you know what? We just got hot at the right time, all that stuff. So we'll see, man. We'll see. It's a long season. They play 17 games this year. It's the longest season in NFL history. So buckle in, strap in. We still in this roller coaster ride. We still got a lot more track to get through. Ain't nothing over yet. So just strap in, put your seatbelt on, and hang on in. But I want to let you guys know, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button. We got a super chat coming in from John Kelso, who says the silver lining here is that we face Cincy next week with a bad offensive line and a defense that couldn't stop the rushing attack of the Jets. Yeah, but they did stop the rushing attack of the Ravens 2 weeks prior, though. So we'll see. We'll see with the Bengals. I'm excited for that matchup. As you guys know, it's going to be a ton of content on that game, too. But, yeah, man, right now, you know, the Browns offense, they got something to figure out. They got something to figure out. Sometimes, some games this year, it was the quarterback that was the issue, right? Minnesota, I can rightly point to that one. It's like the quarterback was an issue in that game. This game, the quarterback really wasn't an issue, but the receivers were. That was bad, dude. All them drops, like I don't know what to tell you about that, other than Jarvis better have a monster game next week to make up for it, and I think he will. Randall with the $5 super chat says we better get it together. I'm gonna be at the next game. Well, maybe you gonna be the good luck charm, Randall. Maybe you being there that's gonna get the Browns the right energy. And they're going to put this offense together, and then we're going to get rolling through this stretch. Because, look, if you beat the Bengals, this is why I say if you beat the Bengals, you're going to be in a good position here, right? You beat the Bengals. You're at 5-4. You can beat New England. You're a better team than New England. So 6-4. Now you're feeling better. 6-4, it's a good record, right? You beat Detroit. You should beat Detroit. Don't beat Detroit first win. So 7-4. Okay. Now you head into that Baltimore game, and this is what changes since you lost to Pittsburgh. You could have afforded to lose this Baltimore game, but now that's going to be a lot more dire than it was when we first looked at the schedule. So this Baltimore game on NBC, if you come into that 7-4 and you can win that game, oh, you feeling really good. You get a bye, you get to play Baltimore again, and you get Las Vegas. Like, you got some winnable games coming up on the schedule. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what this team does. We'll see what they turn out. We'll see how they play. All I know is that for this team to make the playoffs, right now, if we just talking about make the playoffs, the offense has to start living up to its billing. And it ain't been living up to that billing. I think that's the biggest issue with this team, is the offense has not lived up to its billing. This was supposed to be one of the best offenses in football, and they have not been that, not for a single entire game at all this year. And that's really what's making this team much worse than they are, is the offense not living up to its billing. But I want to make sure you guys get out of here and get that like button and to get that subscribe button going. I'm going to give y'all, because 5 more minutes for a super chat. We'll just kind of talk generally with the chat. So if you have a super chat, send it right now, because I'll be going off in about 5 minutes. And also, if you ain't subscribed and you like what I do here, make sure you subscribe, stay notified. But yeah, man, this is back against the wall now, man. You did this to yourself. You absolutely did this to yourself. And like worst case, and honestly, this team should probably be somewhere around. They really should only have one loss right now. They really should. But they got 4 because they did 3 of them to themselves, self-inflicted, all on offense. Can't have it. Absolutely cannot have it. Next week's going to be an interesting matchup as the Browns go in to play the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals looking like one of the best teams in the conference, and all of a sudden they drop a game to the Jets. We don't know, man. See, the thing about this division and why I'm not freaking out about who's going to win it yet, nobody has established themselves as a top dog. The Ravens looked really good, but we know they're injured. They go in to play Cincinnati. They get blown out. And then the Bengals, now you thinking maybe they the top dog. They lose to the Jets. Get me eliminated from the eliminator, by the way. Shout out Bengals. I knew y'all couldn't trust the damn Bengals. And then the Steelers, nobody knows what to do with them. And the Browns, absolutely nobody knows what to do with the Cleveland Browns right now. Nobody knows what to do with the Cleveland Browns right now. So, hey, man, it is what it is at this point. The good news is that there is no number 1 team in the AFC North. So everything is still wide open. Everything is still wide open. Everything's still open. Everything is still there. So that's the good thing, man. And the AFC, it's been kind of disappointing this year. Let me see what the AFC look like. AFC standings. Put that up here. Yeah, right now, the AFC standings look kind of pitiful. Right, it's only one team over 500 in the AFC East. AFC West got like 2 teams, the Raiders and the Chargers. The Chiefs are under 500. The Broncos they got the same record as the Broncos. Oh, my goodness. What is going on with the Chiefs? Remember how people were like the Browns and the Chiefs going to play in January again? Maybe we might draft next to each other. Like, I don't know. The AFC North has all teams 500 or over 500. Yeah, and then the AFC South. So when it comes to the wild card, you're really only competing with a couple AFC West teams, the Chiefs, the Chargers. The Chiefs got a worse record than you. The Chargers will get a head-to-head over you. And then that's really it, man. Like, you're just really battling with your own division, and you get to play them for those tiebreakers. So we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's going to be it for this week's post-game show. Make sure you subscribe so you can get my post-game recap tomorrow. But, yep, y'all have a great day. Have a good night, man. By the way, prayers for Stump. Stump got hurt. Hopefully Stump get back out there. And maybe, Stump can start calling plays. Because Stump start calling plays, we cooking with gas. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave y'all with that positive note. Stump Mitchell come back. Browns by 40.